As our limited edition program gets rolling and it has had a little time to mature, new ideas continue to arise about what we might do with it next. Tune in to learn more today. And welcome back to the Murdy Creative Co podcast. I'm your host, Kyle Murdy, and today's topic is limited edition subscriptions. But first, I want to say thank you to everyone who supported the company so far. If you got a chance, go check us out on the web at murdycreative.co. That's M-U-R-D-Y creative.co, or you can check us out on all of our social medias. We really appreciate all of you who have participated in our Discord or have been part of the conversation with us on our socials. It really does help promote us in the algorithm, and obviously the algorithm is really what drives attention these days, so... Many of you have purchased limited editions in the past. It's actually one of our best programs, and we've been thrilled to launch it. And it's something that I'm very excited about for its future, because the limited edition in the concept has very few limits in what it can do, right? We could bring on exotic leathers, things that aren't even leather. We could bring on different thicknesses, things that would never, ever make it onto our shelves otherwise. We might even do limited editions of things like the coffee mug. I mean, I don't think so, but like we could do limited editions of merchandise. The pens could be in limited edition colors. Like the world of our limited edition is endless and very exciting. But we've started to see a bit of a slowdown in our weekly purchasing on our limited editions. And obviously there's a couple of factors that are involved in that. One, it's entirely possible that we've saturated the core of our market, that there's a lot of our best customers have purchased all the limited editions that they can reasonably afford, and we've just, reached the end of that group. And that's possible, and I think that might be part of it, but I really don't think that's likely all of it. And in fact, I don't think that's most of it. So the question is how do we get the next thing for the limited editions going? And an idea has been battered about this place for years, actually, around the idea of a subscription service. Now, for us in the past, our subscription services have looked in various times and in various places like a pro membership that got you a bunch of perks and features and things like that, input into next products and all sorts of other things like that, and then a slightly less expensive option that had all sorts of other perks. I think the top membership program, every dollar you spent on your subscription went to in-store credit, and then there was, I think, a bonus on top of that. So the idea is that if you join our membership program and you pay, I think it was going to be like $15-20 a month, something like that, you had all of that go back to your account as in-store credit plus like 20%. And so anything you bought, you could buy with in-store credit, and it'd be as if you got a discount on it, right? That was kind of the logic behind it, and it had a bunch of other perks associated with it. So it's not something that's new to us per se. We've been talking about it for a while, but we haven't really gotten to the point where we pulled the trigger on it yet, just because there's a couple of factors. One, we have to work on the tech stack, right? Obviously, being on Shopify has its advantages and disadvantages. On an advantage side of things, you've got a ton of third parties that are able to integrate into the Shopify environment. And Shopify itself has some core functionality with the subscriptions that are just baked into the pie. However, the more you stack of those third-party apps onto your website, the slower it runs, the more difficult it is to make sure everything works properly together, the more challenging overall things can become. So it's kind of a bit of a double-edged sword. So making sure that we can have the technology on the back end of our website to ensure that you guys have a good experience is obviously paramount to me. It's actually more important to me that we have the right experience for the customers and have it be a good experience overall than to launch something, right? So it's been discussed in the past, but we never really got further on it than kind of the discussion phase. But as we've been talking through the limited editions, and we've got some really exciting new ones coming up, there's been a kind of a new shift in the wind about the limited editions that I'm really excited about. And I've got some prototypes, some samples coming in. But anyway, with that in mind, though, the idea is, what if we did a limited edition subscription? And we had a long discussion about it this morning, and I don't know exactly how it's going to turn out. I'm letting you guys in on the ground floor. And by the ground floor, I mean any and all of these things could be possible. And we don't really know what it looks like quite yet. But we had looked at the idea of the individual would sign up. I'm reading my notes here. So would sign up for the weekly limited edition. And it would be, we debated it being something where it was a flat percentage off. And we debated it being something that was more of a, it was maybe within a range of dollars to help make it be a little simpler. But the discussion has evolved to the point where I think we'd have to make it a flat fee. Now, this has some opportunity and some downsides. First off, if it was a flat fee, let's just say I'm picking a number, it might or might not be this, $89 a week, right? That's a lot of money, don't get me wrong. There are some people out there who have bought every single limited edition that we've ever launched. And you know who you are, and thank you very much. But the idea would be this, is if you were part of the limited edition subscription, whether we were launching an executive cut, whether we were launching a stationary cut, whether we were launching a travel cut, no matter what we were launching, you'd get it for $89, right? So there are some things where the discount would be absolutely substantial and astounding. And then there would be ones where the discount would only be marginal. Now, if you look at the average price of our limited editions over the last 10 limited editions, I think it's something like $119, $129, somewhere in there, right? So for $89, it's about a 30% discount off the top, right? Now, we would also allow the limited editions subscribers to get early access. So 24 hours before it was announced, they would get informed about what it's going to be. And so they could choose, after they received the email about what it's going to be, whether they wanted it or not. So they could skip a week if they didn't want to continue to get this specific one, right? They could skip a week. And with that, so you get a little bit of a heads up and all sorts of things. It would also kind of they would get first dibs. So whenever we were deciding if we got a leather hide in and we're doing our limited editions and we've got a certain number of subscribers, we have to set aside that number for those people to start with. And so you're kind of guaranteed to get it, as it were. Obviously, we allow free returns. Obviously, people can cancel their order at any time. So there isn't a lot of risk for people if they happen to miss the 24-hour email. At least that's kind of the thinking right now. And it could be quite a substantial discount. And it also allows us to do something that we haven't been able to do yet, which is advertise them on social media. Right? One of the big things that has gotten in the way of our limited editions thus far is because of how they have to be launched every week and because of how short that timeline is, there really isn't a way for us to advertise them via social media. We can't put up pictures of them because by the time we get that ad for that social media ad for that product launched, they could be sold out. I mean, our Blue Bison sold out in 2 hours the first time we launched it, right? So when we look at the overall, and you don't want to spend marketing dollars on something that is not likely to continue or is to be short term because it takes time to get through the learning phase, right? So for us to spend a lot of money teaching an algorithm how to showcase this advertisement to certain individuals and then at the same time not have that product available is a bad waste of money. So by offering a subscription service, the idea would be that we could use our past purchases, our past limited editions as the photos. That would be kind of, for example, a revolving set of photos of old ones. And we could put that together as a pretty cool advertisement. And then people could sign up and get the future ones. Obviously, there's some challenges in there about making sure that we communicate clearly. And there are some technical aspects that we haven't quite nailed down. Like what happens when, let's say it's Monday. Right, and the limited edition has sold out, and it sold out a couple of days ago. And you're scrolling through Instagram and you see an advertisement for the limited edition product, and it's a subscription service. So you see a whole bunch of products. You go, wow, that's cool, and you click on it, and it takes you to the limited edition subscription page. Well, we can't use the last week's product as the product image because it's not available anymore. But we can't use the next week's product image because it's not announced yet. Now, the best solution at the moment is to say that the product image for the limited edition subscription service is a hodgepodge of all of our limited editions in the past. Like it's a group photo to help people understand that it's not for any individual item, it's for the limited edition. And if you want to go see what the limited edition is, go click on this link and it'll take you to the current limited edition. Now, once again, there's some challenges, I will say, in how do we roll this out and how do we get new people into this and how do we work on making sure that this is something that people find very valuable. Maybe it's if you sign up for the limited edition, not only do you get the substantial discount, but you get the free name engraving, or it's upgraded shipping, or your order gets shipped out it will get shipped out by Thursday. Like it launches on Thursday, it gets shipped out by Thursday, and so you get it depending on where you are in the country, by Monday or by Friday even. So, what are the advantages and perks to the program? Now, one of the other ideas that kind of has been discussed is changing the way it's done to instead being like credits. So your subscription money, it's closer to the original program that we were looking at, where if you subscribe to the limited edition, it's ideally it would be a lot less expensive, right? It'd be something like $20 a week, $25 a week or something like that. And you'd get a bonus and it would go as in-store credit. And then the idea is that you still get first access to the limited editions and you can spend your in-store credit on it. But it's not like you get every single one. It's more like you get first dibs on anyone that launches, and you get it ahead of time and you can get credits to spend on it and things like that. So all in all, the advantage of a subscription program for us, obviously, is not only the recurring revenue, but the ability for us to kind of get a baseline of how many we need to make, right? Because one of the challenges with all of our limited editions is it's hard to get a sense of how interested people are going to be in any one item. Obviously, when we first launched the Blue Bison, we did not realize that it was going to be as popular as it was because it sold out within 2 hours, and that's fast, even for us. I mean, the next one we did 2.5 times the quantity, and it sold out in 6 hours, right? So it was one of those things where it's hard to get a gauge of whether these things are going to be super popular or not ahead of time. But by having the subscription program, it allows for us to say, okay, well, we've got 10 subscribers, and yes, any one of them could skip, could cancel, could return. But we know we should have at least 8 or 10, right? We should at least have a certain number, and then obviously a certain number above that for everybody else, right? And that helps kind of nail down a little bit of what the quantities that we're looking at are, right? Because if all of a sudden we realize that we've got 15, 20, 30, 40, 50 people in the subscription program, that would be awesome. I'd jump for joy. But moreover, it would allow for us, when we're ordering the raw materials to make these limited editions, to have enough to make sure that we can cover our costs, cover the products that our obligations. And there's a side effect of all of this too, which actually is kind of a fun idea, called our second chance program. So we get a lot of people after the fact who will reach out to us and ask, is this thing, again, can I get another one of these things? Can I get this thing again, right? After it's long gone. And the answer is no, unfortunately, because we don't have any. But there's been an idea, which is that, okay, if let's say we've got 10 subscribers to this program, 15 subscribers to the program, just picking a number, and we're going to launch 20 of them, right? Well, there's only going to be 5 or 10 available to the public, right? And let's say all of those subscribers get theirs, but let's say 2 people return theirs because they end up not wanting it or for whatever reason, or we end up planning to sell, we make enough of the 10 to cover the subscription base, but then 2 people skip it, right? Well, we either can take those 2 and put it into the main pool where other people can buy them, or the idea would be that we could have it as something that would, once a month, we would take all of the old limited editions that came out that month, and if we had any extra of them left over because they were either returned or because someone skipped or all of those other things, you could have one chance to buy those again. They'd be available, and they'd obviously be available in quantities like 1 or 2. But it would be a lot of people who missed it to get a second chance to get it, right? So, and obviously not every limited edition would have a second chance. In fact, arguably the really popular ones that are the super, super engaging ones where everybody wants it, we probably wouldn't have anybody skip it. But the idea would be that it would allow for people to have some of that opportunity. But I don't know, right? This is where I'm trying to figure out the best way to explore this program. And we want to do a survey in the near future here. I still got to nail down what it's going to be, how it's going to work exactly, and who's the questions are going to go to. But I want to get a sense of, for those who have purchased from us, what drew you to the limited edition, right? Have you bought more than one limited edition, and why? And what limited edition would you most like to see if you could pick any of them? Like, that would either be to one to come back, or more importantly, one that hasn't happened yet. Getting us some of that sense is good. But in a bigger sense, how do we drive the engagement forward into a new and better place? How can we provide a better value to those of you who want the limited editions and don't want to miss out on them? And how do we price that? How do we organize that in such a way where it's not so burdensome that people, feel like they can't manage it, but at the same time, it is appropriately priced for what we're selling, right? Because at some level, you're getting 4 products a month at that point, or more if there's a 5th week in a month, right? So it's something to consider. And obviously, I'm looking for feedback. So if you're The limited edition, speaking of which, for this week is polished red brown. Polished red brown. Reddish brown? Brownish red? It's one we haven't done yet before, so tune in. It's going to be cool. So I want to get your feedback on all this. I want to hear what you guys think of this, right? Would you be interested in a program that was more like the membership that we were talking about originally, where it's a lot less expensive each month and you get a bonus on top of it, where it's $20 a month, but you get, I don't know, $25 of in-store credit for that? Is it better for you to say that you would get all of them and they would be at a pretty substantial discount depending on what it was, obviously, and it would be a fixed price, or is it something that you'd rather have every other maybe, or you could pick one? It's kind of a little bit up in the air right now, and obviously we're not doing this right this moment. Obviously we have to spend some time on it, and we got to make sure, like we talked about in the beginning, that we have a tech stack to support it so that the experience is seamless and fun and easy to do. But I want to hear from you guys. If you have purchased in the limited edition in the past and you would be inclined to do this program, let me know specifically in the comments below, because that does help us gauge some of the interest in all of this. If you have ideas, or if you haven't purchased the limited edition in the past, but this sounds like something you'd be interested in, definitely mention that in the comments below. I want to hear from you guys. If any of you are part of subscription boxes or subscription services that are really cool, that you think are a really good idea, tell me how they do it. I want to know. So this is a podcast especially designed for some feedback. So send us an email back if you want to communicate that way. Leave a comment on YouTube. I definitely appreciate some feedback on this one, because we are really still in the early phases of what this looks like, and I want to make sure we get it right, because it's got a potential to be really quite cool. Anyway, thank you guys so much for tuning in today. Be sure to check back in next Thursday for the next Wednesday, for the next topic, and don't forget to check that subscribe button as well as the notification bell to get notified when we launch new episodes. If you have any questions or concerns about your product or any product we sell, please feel free to reach out to us on the main page of our website at murdycreative.co. That's MURDY creative.co. If you've ordered a product and you want to leave us a good review, please go to murdycreative.co/review. That will take you right now to Google, where you can leave a review there. It improves our SEO. We're trying to boost ourselves on Google a little bit. Sometimes it leads to Facebook, so keep that in mind. It's on purpose. We direct you where we hope to get the reviews explicitly. If you want to read all of our reviews, go to murdycreative.co/reviews, and it'll take you to the page where we aggregate all those reviews so you can read them. If you have a bad experience, or for whatever reason you'd leave a bad review, please, before you leave that bad review, give us an opportunity to make things right. It is deeply important to me personally that everyone has a good experience with the company, has a good experience with their product, has a good experience with the way that it is used in their life. And if you have any issue with that, please reach out to me. We want to make it right. We really do. It's important to me. If you want to get a custom engraved item, we have no minimum order quantities and no setup fees. It's a simple flat fee, normally about $15. And you can either use the customizer that's built into each product page with the blue Add Custom logo button if you want to launch it. But if you don't see that blue logo button, you can reach out to us via email, sales@murdycreative.co, sales@murdycreative.co, and we're happy to help get a custom order link as well as a mock-up for you to use, so you can take a look at that. Finally, if you want to get bulk orders, it's based off of the total cart quantity, so you can mix and match to your heart's desire, add everything to your cart, and it'll auto-apply the correct discount. It starts at a quantity of 5. There are some exceptions to that. Pens, refills, things that we don't make. Things like name engravings, for example, are just an accessory on an item, and so they don't count as their own thing. So there's a couple of exceptions, but for the most part, if you're going to get just 5 regular items, that should certainly work. And obviously, if you have any questions about that program, you can reach out to us directly. You can give us a phone call at 414-434-9001, or you can text us at that number as well, 414-434-9001. We're available Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Central Time. We really appreciate the calls if you call us. If you don't get a hold of us and you want to leave us a voicemail, please do. We will call you back. We appreciate that. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Have a great day, and goodbye.